please remember to leave a like, a comment, share the video about, and if you haven't already, subscribe. Thank you. Well, isn't this just fantastic? Captain's log, subdates 230106.7. D-Orcta is going to create a twerk implant so we can bypass Arcta's mind control helmet. While Dorky works on that, I've sent word to an old enemy and have used Bork's testicles as a suitable peace offering. Within the space of 24 hours, the Daily Mail produced at least 8 articles talking about Prince Harry. Why? Because The Guardian got early access to his book titled Spare. It is why this video is titled Pouty Prince of the Spare Child Realm. The reason spare child is because that's what Prince Charles said to Diana when she gave birth to Harry. I have one to succeed and a spare child, which I can see as a joke. I actually think there's some inaccuracies to this though, not least because Harry does not look anything like Charles. He looks more like James Hewitt, the guy alleged to have had an affair with Diana. But of course I don't want to be accused of peddling false news. It's mere speculation that's been going on for a long time, much like that of Macho Man Randy Savage apparently having a sexual liaison with Stephanie McMahon when she was 17. What I thought I'd do is start with Rotten Tomato and build our way up to all those articles in the Daily Mail and then some other articles from different outlets, because I don't want you to just think this is a conservative channel. Again though, the Daily Mail really don't like Harry at the moment. They really don't. I'm hardly the biggest fan either. It's why Prince Harry's on my right screen. Yes, you see that lol cow? Do you like it? I don't use it very often. I really should. On Rotten Tomato, Harry and Meghan's documentary, their 6-part series of their courtship, their love story, the challenges that led them to retreat from life as working royals, along with commentary from friends, family, and historians. The friends are biased beyond reckoning. The family only include select clips from very rare individuals and do not include the more prominent members of the royal family or Meghan's father. Historians. Yes, revisionist. The average tomato score is 40%. The average audience score 18%. Now you can say this has been review bombed, sure, but we the Brits, even those that were kind of on Harry and Meghan's side, realise this is nothing more than intellectually dishonest gaslighting of the British people and journalists. And I don't think Harry or Meghan know what gaslighting means. No, I'm not going to bother with a definition. They're not going to watch this video. They are far too busy sniffing their own farts and pretending that they don't want anything to do with public life while making millions from public life. Part of me had speculated early on the only reason they walked away from the royal family was because they could make more money on their own. And I think we can all ignore the fact that at the time, Prince Charles had paid towards the mansion they live in, because as is well established, Prince Charles is a terrible father. What's interesting about these tomato scores is Harry and Meghan's series in Netflix ratings actually beat The Crown. Viewing figures, 2.4 million tuned in to watch the documentary on the day of its release, which is more than double of that who go to watch The Crown, which receives about 1.1 million viewers. Although I would argue The Crown is in its final season, it's not comparable to something that's considered to be more of a bombshell, something which many of the reviewers indicate it is not. Many of us on YouTube have also said it is not because it is revisionist, also using clips that are completely out of context and also not related. By doing so, they undermine their entire message, and because Harry and Meghan are so balls deep in the entire conversation and the production of it, when you get paid this much money, it's understandable you want to be more hands-on so you don't give as much to other people. You would have thought they would have known the clips they were using were wrong. They could have easily pulled them back, but they didn't. So Prince Harry's book, which has yet to be released yet, was released to The Guardian. I do have the article by The Guardian that goes into this, and it is quite interesting, but I like the idea that some outlet has decided I'm going to make 8 articles about all of this, but also include other information we may not have known. And I'm going to start with something I didn't know that is claimed by Harry. The claim is that William and Kate had told him to wear the Nazi uniform to then laugh at him when they saw him in it. Because at the time, Harry had been considering either the Nazi uniform or a pilot uniform. They said Nazi, and yeah, he went as a Nazi, allegedly. This is all, by the way, from his book. The event he was attending was native and colonial. That was the theme. I'm intrigued by the Nazi aspect of that. Now, with regards to the book, much like with the Harry Potter books, people have been hiring extra guards for when it is released because it is thought to be this explosive, this honest, that behind the veil look at the royal family from the perspective of somebody who was once an active member of it can be considered quite titillating. So much so, publishers involved in this book are refusing to release it until the very last moment to make sure no unauthorized copies make their way onto the internet. There's a high chance that could fail. Once even a tiny slither of information reaches the internet, you are unlikely to be able to remove it. But I do wish you the best of luck in that. It is also alleged in that same book that after the incident, Harry went on a grand tour to repair the damage, meeting rabbis, Holocaust survivors, to try and make this right. Or to quote him, all I wanted to do was make it right. I sat down and spoke to the chief rabbi in London, which had a profound impact on me. I went to Berlin and spoke to a Holocaust survivor. I could have got on and ignored it and made the same mistakes over and over in my life, but I learnt from it. The implication from this is that Harry was thrown under the bus by William for not taking responsibility for the fact that he may have condoned this costume because he thought it was so funny. And if anyone was interested in what William was wearing, there aren't many pictures of it. William was dressed in a skin-tight black leotard with a leopard skin pattern and a matching leopard skin tail and paws. Prince Harry has claimed his brother William grabbed him by the collar and threw him to the floor during a heated argument over his wife Meghan Markle. The furious row allegedly broke out at his London home in 2019, which William, the now Prince of Wales, is said to have branded Meghan difficult, rude and abrasive. Harry accused his brother of parroting the press narrative about his wife before a screaming match ensued, ending in a physical altercation. Many times before the Queen had passed away, Queen Elizabeth herself and Prince Charles, now King Charles, had begged them both to end this. Prince Charles was quoted as saying, "Please boys, don't make my final years a misery." My view on this has always remained the same. Oh look, two brothers fighting. What a totally original idea that has never happened to anyone ever in the history of humanity. I'm assuming we're going to ignore that Liam and Noel Gallagher have been fighting for years over their respective wives. And they can be argued in the music industry to be a form of royalty as well, also thought of as absolute trash. Prince Harry also claimed that he was left with a very visible injury to his back because of how he landed on the floor. Harry claims that William was not being rational, which then led to the shouting match when it came to discussing Meghan. Harry said he told his brother he was unable to understand why he was not happy with being the spare, accusing his brother of acting like an heir. William told him he was trying to help him. Harry claims to have replied, "Are you serious? Help me? Sorry, is that what you call this? Helping me?" It was this comment, according to Harry, which infuriated William, causing him to swear while stepping towards him. Harry said that he was in turn scared and retreated to the kitchen as William followed. He claims to then have given William a glass of water and told him, "Willie, I can't speak to you when you're like this." He further wrote, "He set down the water, called me another name, then came at me. It all happened so fast, so very fast. He grabbed me by the collar, ripping my necklace, and he knocked me to the floor. I landed on the dog's bowl, which cracked under my back, the pieces cutting into me. I lay there for a moment dazed, then got to my feet and told him to get out." That necklace, by the way, just because it tickles me to no end, was a gift by his ex-girlfriend Chelsea Davy. Aren't you supposed to get rid of stuff given to you by exes? Harry then continues to claim that William offered him the chance to hit him back, but because Harry's a very devout pacifist that served in the military and saw frontline action, he decided, "Nah, I'm above this." It's not because he was scared of his brother who's bigger, taller, faster, stronger. No. It's because he's a spiritual man. In fact, straight after this, the Archangel here called his therapist to talk about it. And if you're assaulted in your home, you could have called the police. That would have been more entertaining, don't you think? See some Rozzers turn up at the palace and go, "Yo, William, we need to have a little word, fam. We're slapping you with an asbo. Do get one of your servants to send for you, you celebach." When William left, Harry claims again that William said to him, "You don't need to tell Meg about this," with Harry responding, "You mean that you attacked me?" To which William said, "I didn't attack you, Harold." Harry also claims he did not tell Meghan at first what had happened, but because of the visible damage to his back, she noticed it when she was fucking him up the arse. As far as pre-sales go for this book, which is expected to be monstrous in sales figures, It's already number 2 on Amazon's bestseller list in pre-sales in North America and the UK. It'll in turn do well because it'll make fantastic bedding for hamsters in their houses. Or, in an emergency, wiping your own arse. What's fascinating to me is that while all this is being released early, this information, these excerpts, this juicy gossip, I feel like Rich Lex, Harry has been saying the ball's in the court of the royal family to make amends and reconcile with him. It is still unknown if Harry will attend the coronation of his father, and the royal family are still not responding to this. Why? Because, as the title of the video goes, it's a fairly accurate descriptor. One side of events does not give us a full picture, and as has already been debunked on multiple occasions, the 6-episode thingy-majiggy they're doing on Netflix, while doing well in numbers, is a colossal waste of energy, hiding behind buzzwords to suit an agenda. By the way, that's only one of the Daily Mail's articles. So let's now move on to the next article. Questions are being asked about the leak of Prince Harry's highly anticipated autobiography to the US edition of The Guardian, which has reported on its sensational claims about rifts among the royals. I find this fascinating. The title of the article I'm reading from now is "How Did Left-Wing Guardian Get a Leaked Copy of Prince Harry's Book Spare? Red faces at Duke's publisher's New York-based reporter gets copy of bombshell autobiography 6 days early. A blunder, perhaps, but actually it wouldn't be so hard or far-fetched to believe that Harry and Meghan, while claiming to despise all journalists, would happily leak one copy to them to get a suitable response. It was hardly going to go to Fox News after all. The Guardian seems the safest of options, where they'd be treated with a level of reverence, especially an American outlet. The Guardian states it managed to obtain a copy of the book despite stringent security measures by publisher Penguin Random House ahead of its release on Tuesday. The memoir's claims are detailed by The Guardian's New York breaking news reporter Martin Pengelly on its website, with many reporting on this in unison and agreement, saying that they're not entirely convinced how the brothers can reconcile after this, especially because of the detailing of them two fighting. It is believed that King Charles will come out of it better than anyone would have expected, but it should be in turn tough on William and Kate. The deal that Harry and Meghan had signed with the publishing giant is apparently worth $20 million and is a 4-book deal. I'm kinda hoping that this one opens the eyes while it'll do well in sales to the vast amount of criticism they're undoubtedly going to get when people just say, "You do realise literally everyone fights. This is not fresh. We don't think you're suddenly going to be like the bestest of best pals all the time, you know." But as I earlier stated, they've been latching on to buzzwords and usual soundbite cliches to get their points across. Harry will undoubtedly feel like he is the lone wolf in all of this. And what he's doing for his family, which is interesting because your fight with William happened in 2019. Your first child was born then. So the issues you had with your brother predate the very family that you are annoyed about not getting the titles you want them to get from King Charles. Another reason you might not turn up to the coronation. But I actually agree with Charles here. You are not functioning members of the royal family anymore, therefore the entitlement to those titles ends. But also Charles wants to create a more streamlined royal family. Therefore, titles need to, well, not be spread out so thin like butter on toast. Basically Bilbo's brain after 100+ years of life. The title means very little and doesn't do you anything, and unless your children intend to become working royals, which won't be likely anyway, the whole point of them being given those titles is redundant. On Tuesday, this book will be released worldwide at the same time. That is to ensure that those in other countries don't see it before anyone else. A lot of effort has gone in to making this happen. That includes on the Kindle store as well for pre-orders, and I'm not surprised. It is going to sell a lot of copies. There's no doubt of that. Harry will make a lot of money, some of which I would highly recommend he use to pay back his dad for buying the house for him. You know, the very father he's dunking on. The very family that did have his back, but he turned his back on them because he never bothered to tackle the problems that were plaguing his mental health for a long time. Issues coupled with the fact that his brother was destined to be the king will have undoubtedly just added to the fracturing between them. I'd be half tempted to buy the book solely so I could review it, but that sounds like a waste of my money, when I could just go to Poundland, buy some of their novelty loo roll, and read that I'm sure it'll say exactly the same thing that Harry's book says.